Today I'm spilling the tea on the very best way to make iced tea. Today I thought I would share with you a hack that's been getting me through the past many months as we've been staying at home more often. And now that I am not at a corporate office job anymore, which used to supply me with any soft drink that I could ever want, but now I have to supply my own drinks. And I've been really relying on this method for making iced tea. Now, I'm going to cold brew my iced tea. And the reason I love this is it is so easy. I'm also going to share with you some ways to kind of jazz up your iced tea so you can have a little bit of a different version of iced tea pretty easily whenever you want it. So, the first thing we're going to start with is sort of just plain black iced tea bags. Now, this is iced tea that's specially brewed for iced tea. I don't know how much that matters. But I do have the bags that are like extra large. So I'm actually going to use 4 of these bags for 2 quarts of water. Now, if you don't have the larger size bags, you can probably just use 8 of a normal size tea bag. And I just pop them in and then kind of get them all wet so that they'll get into the water. And then that's pretty much it. I'm going to put the lid on and put this in the fridge. And then this takes, usually what I do is before I go to bed, I make a batch, and by the next day, we have iced tea. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the fridge and get back a batch that I already have made so we can talk about how to jazz up this iced tea. So this is a batch that I'd pre-made. And what I like also about this way of brewing, cold brewing iced tea is that I just keep the tea bags in here because we're not dealing with heat. This doesn't really get bitter the longer you keep it in the water. It does get a little stronger, but you're never going to get kind of that bitterness that you get if you over sort of brewed it in hot water. So I just keep this in the fridge with the tea bags in it the whole time. And generally, what we like to do is kind of like once one is almost done that night, we put another batch in, and then we have iced tea. So I'm going to share with you some ways on sort of jazzing up this iced tea. Now, you can always just have iced tea plain without any sweetener, but I do like to add sweetener to mine. And now I will admit that I do love the little yellow packs here. It's a flavor that doesn't bother me. I know it does for some people. They don't like the fake flavor. But what I do like about this is that it dissolves in the iced tea when the iced tea is cold. So you don't get chunks of sugar at the bottom of your glass. So, often just for a pinch, I will like grab a couple of packets of these, but I know that's not for everybody. So, what I'm going to talk about is an easy way to make a simple syrup so that you don't have sugar in the bottom of your glass. Now, simple syrup is very simple to make. It is just pretty much equal parts sugar and water. And what I like to do to make this super easy is just to put it in a mason jar. I put half sugar, and then I will heat up my kettle over here and get it hot and mix that hot water in and then stir it up and put it in the fridge, and then you have simple syrup. Now, this is great for iced tea. It is also great for cold brew iced coffee, which we like to make, but also it's great for having cocktails. And it is one of the most important ingredients in Sean's margaritas, which he makes the best margaritas. Let me know in the comments below. Put a little margarita emoji down there if you'd like us to share that margarita recipe. It is super great. So yeah, having simple syrup around is helpful even for things that are not iced tea. So I'm going to wait for my kettle to come up to a boil, and then we will mix up our simple syrup. The kettle is good and hot, so I'm just going to fill the other half of this mason jar up. and then mix it around to dissolve the sugar. And that's it. We're just gonna let this sit. I'm not gonna use simple syrup today because I have some other ideas. But I would just cover this up, let it sort of just sit a little longer and give it a nice shake, and then we'll have perfect simple syrup. Another way that I like to sweeten my iced tea is through tropical fruit juices. Now, I am, I'm obsessed with passion fruit. And whenever we go to the Caribbean or Mexico, like passion fruit is one of my favorite flavors. So I like to buy passion fruit nectar, and also guava nectar is also delicious in the iced tea. And I also add these to seltzer to make a nice little sparkling fruit juice. But it tastes delicious in our iced tea, so that's how I'm gonna do it today. I got some ice in my iced tea glass. And one more tip on iced tea is that I love a lemon in my iced tea. And what I found is that if I just cut up a bunch of lemons and put them in a mason jar and have them at the ready, these lemons last kind of forever. They like this. Actually, they will seem to last longer cut up and in the refrigerator than if I just keep them in my fruit basket. So I like to have these cut up and ready to go. And a lot of times I'll squeeze like a whole lot of lemon in there and make sort of like an Arnold Palmer type drink. So lemonade and iced tea. But today we're gonna go for the passion fruit because I love it. And just a little bit. You don't need a ton. Just enough to sweeten it and give it some of that nice tropical flavor. And there you have it. A passion fruit iced tea. And what I love about these little fruit nectars, tropical fruit nectars, is that they're pretty inexpensive. I think these cost me like 85 cents a can, and I can just keep them in my pantry for all manner of things. This is another delicious drink to have with rum, maybe a little bit more simple syrup and lime. So these are also delicious just to have on hand. And there we have it, our easy cold brew iced tea. Passion fruit flavored. One more thing I wanted to mention is that there's a lot of different versions of iced tea that you could have. And I've been really loving a hibiscus iced tea. So I make this in a little bit of a smaller containers because I think I'm the only one in that house that likes it. But this is a little bit more floral tasting, a little bit fruity, and it's not sweet, but I think because it has those fruity flavors, it gives a little bit of sweetness to it. And so I've been using this Tazo iced passion tea and this hibiscus sangria from the Republic of Tea. And I do the same thing. These come with pretty big pouches, and so I will just use one of these for a quart of iced tea for the hibiscus. So I hope you like this process for making iced tea. It is super easy, super inexpensive. I buy these huge boxes of iced tea bags on Amazon, and they really last forever in the pantry. And that way, I can always have something a little bit different than water to drink. So let me know if you give this a try. If you have other kinds of iced tea that you like to make, I'd love to hear about them. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and click that little bell button to get alerted when I launch a new video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Now, go have some fun in the kitchen and brew some iced tea.